Music by Gershwin. This program comes to radio headed by George Gershwin, America's leading modern composer, who brings us an intimate review of present-day music. This program, sponsored by the makers of Phenament, the delicious chewing gum laxative, will be heard twice weekly, Monday and Friday at this same time. Under Mr. Gershwin's guidance, we shall hear his own melodies and those of other leading composers and go behind the scenes in the fascinating world of music and the theater. As to Mr. Gershwin himself, we need hardly add that he is famous as a pianist, a composer, and a man of the theater. Writer of the famous Rhapsody in Blue, of Thee I Sing, and countless individual melodies and pieces, together with no less than 37 musical comedy scores. Mr. Gershwin occupies a commanding position in several creative fields. It is now the great privilege of Phenament to introduce this vital, interesting personality, Mr. George Gershwin.
Good evening. Don Wilson said that these programs were to be intimate reviews of modern music. I'm afraid that's a rather large order. Personally, I should have felt safer if he had said that the programs were to be informal, for that is certainly what my part in them will be. I want you to feel as though you had simply dropped in at my house or I at yours to run over a few tunes that may have given us pleasure. As a starter, we asked the orchestra to give us the overture from Of Thee I Sing. like to tell you the inside story of the tune we're using as a radio signature. It's called The Man I Love, and you may have recognized it at the opening of the program. This tune was written 10 years ago, and about this time we did a musical comedy, Lady Be Good, featuring those delightful performers, Fred and Adela Stair. Imagine my discomfort when the tune received such a lukewarm reception in Lady Be Good that we felt obliged to take it from the play. But my spirits rose shortly after this when Lady Mountbatten asked me for a copy of the song to take back to England. Soon, Lady Mountbatten's favorite dance band, the Berkeley Square Orchestra, was playing The Man I Love. It wasn't long before all the dance bands in London had taken up The Man I Love. Strangely enough, I now had a London song hit on my hands without being able to sell a single copy. But I now felt that The Man I Love was worthy of a place in any score I might write, so in 1927, when we brought out the first version of the musical comedy Strike Up the Band, this melody was again introduced. And again the melody met with scant success. Apparently, The Man I Love just lacked that thing so far as theater presentation was concerned. However, its out-of-the theater popularity continued to grow, and after considerable success in London and Paris, The Man I Love was sung in New York by an artist who has been almost directly responsible for its American success. I refer to that remarkable personality, Helen Morgan. So now I am going to ask Mr. Katzman and the orchestra to play this number for you, and if nobody minds, I shall attempt the piano part myself.
I know we both won't say a word. Maybe I shall meet him Sunday, maybe Monday, maybe not. Still I'm sure to meet him one day, maybe Tuesday will be my good news day. He'll build a little home just meant for two, from which I'll never roam. Would you? And so all else above, I'm waiting for the man I love.
I don't see any good reason why we should be concentrating on my tunes to the exclusion of all else. And on future programs, we're going to play some music of contemporary composers. For instance, on Friday, we'll play the prize-winning composition of Rube Bloom's Song of the Bayou. But right now, I want to play for you a composition of mine which brings up the pleasantest memories. It's I Got Rhythm from a show called Girl Crazy. Maybe you saw it a few seasons ago. Again, I had the pleasure of working with my brother Ira, who supplied the lyrics. Anyway, let's try it. In just a moment, we will play for you a few bars of the song which I'm going to feature on our Friday night program. But first, let Don Wilson has a word for you.
George Gershwin, presiding over this program of modern music, presented for your entertainment by Phenamint, the chewing gum laxative, brings us the spirit of the day in which we live. Modern life with its complex problems, its progress toward better times. Scientists everywhere are at work to make life better and more comfortable for all of us. In the field of medicine, for instance, great advances have been made on a subject which affects the health of millions of people. Clinical studies and experiments on both adults and children have conclusively shown that the best and most effective manner of taking a laxative is in the form of chewing gum. And the modern scientific harmless laxative is Phenamint. Remember, chew your laxative, and you will understand why over 15 million people have chosen Phenamint.
The melody we're playing is Swanee. In Friday evening's program, I'll tell you all about it. Meanwhile, may I say that I've had a very good time this evening, and I hope you feel the same way about it.